Hello, welcome to Microsoft Community Insight Podcast, where we share insights from community experts to stay up to date in Microsoft. I am Nicholas, and I'll be your host today. In this podcast, we will dive into how effectively you can broaden your skill set to help your career. But before we get started, I will remind you to subscribe us on social media so you never miss an episode, and it helps us reach more amazing people like yourself. Today we have a special guest called Ian Schreier. Can you please introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Ian Schreier, and I am uh, an IT pro of almost 30 years in the business. Um, my background, I've got a master's in IT management, coming up on 30 years in the field. I'm very much in the Microsoft skill world, as well as VMware, Cisco, and others. Uh, Currently, I am a principal architect for Cortelligent, a company based out of Boston, where I do scoping, estimation, and project discovery for SMB and enterprise clients. On the personal side, I've started my own coaching and consulting company for careers, particularly those with IT career interests, called Help My IT Career. And I get to work with a lot of people who are looking to start an IT career, make the first big jump, or even work out issues or concerns in their current career. And I'm always very pleased and blessed to be able to help people who are going to go on and do amazing things.
Okay, so before we get started, I just want to ask what makes you start that help my IT career and become an IT coach?
Um, when the pandemic hit, I uh, was laid off for a time, and thankfully I found something very quickly. But it occurred to me that I needed to be more active in planning what my next move in my career was going to be. And along with just my technical skills, I wanted to take my experience and share it with others. I did not have a always direct path to the IT field and to success in the field, and I wanted to kind of pay back the good things that were given to me, the help that was given to me in my own career, and help those who are also experiencing uh, the same kind of struggles and concerns. And I'd love to help as many people as I can, so they don't have to, learn some of the harder lessons that I did.
Yeah, it's all about helping on others to go through, which so they don't have your challenges that you came through, so
Yeah, very
they
much
can
so.
have a smooth journey.
Mhm.
Let's talk about a little bit about your current role. So, what do you normally do on a day-to-day basis as a principal architect at Core
Sure.
Intelligence?
hmm Yeah. So Cortelligent is a managed service provider based out of Boston. They do some of the things that a standard managed service provider would do, day-to-day 24/7 support for clients, doing improvement upgrade projects as well, and helping companies get the most out of their IT investment. They also do several things around digital transformation, focusing on security, uh, uh, backup recovery, and disaster prevention and protection. So it really is kind of a full service, full suite firm. And what I do is I take the needs that customers present to us, the requests for improvements, engagements to accomplish a particular task or project. I do deep dives into their network and their equipment, their IT resources. I work on estimating a project that will fit their budget and meet their need. And I help explain both to the customer, the account management team, and the engineers who execute the project work, how the project is going to go, what direction is going to be taken, and kind of what the goals and the expectations are. So I get to work with a lot of different uh, organizations, life sciences, uh, financial, nonprofits. It really runs the whole gamut of what kind of clients we serve.
Yeah, it looks like you got lots to learn, a lot to do. So you look like you're busy, busy person.
Mm,
So as our team, a theme of the episode is how you broaden your skill set of your career.
mm.
If someone doesn't know, like that's new to their career, doesn't know where to start and don't, what piece of advice would you advise someone look at in order to advise look at the first skills in order to get started, to learn about in the belt or something,
Yeah,
help the
sure.
journey?
Yeah. Um, IT is a very interesting field because there are multitudes of different areas you can go into. Not just the traditional, say, business support efforts that I am a part of, my company is part of on a daily basis. There's a lot of work that can be done in development. There's a lot of work that can be done in educational technology. Uh, Working with educational institutions, um, working with organizations of just any size that have very unique or specific needs. And everybody who comes to IT um, has a particular set of skills and abilities that are unique to everybody. Um, and there's really not a cookie cutter approach that I would suggest. What I would tell people to do, and I've often recommended one or two, if they don't really have an understanding of what they're going to be good at, yet what they're going to enjoy in
Yeah,
IT, I kind of suggest that they look at what they enjoy and what they're good at doing on a regular basis. Would it be working on a financial side? Is it being instructive, helping other people in a classroom kind of environment? Is it on the financial side? Do they like working with numbers, things like that? There are just very many options, and I think the most important thing is that you get a clear picture of what you yourself enjoy, and then you kind of expand it into your choice of areas in the IT field that you might be interested in.
yeah, because a lot of the time, like you won't have it like wanting, you won't know what you want to do until you keep trying numerous things, because since you're really young at that age, you won't know what it is you're passionate about, sort of thing. You
Mhm.
just have to keep trying and keep exploring possibility that you might like it, and then go
Yeah,
from
my
there.
my own experience in college, I knew I was going to be in IT, but I didn't want to be a programmer. I didn't have a lot of art or design skills, and I didn't want to be strictly, focusing on databases or financials or things like that. But I self-trained a great deal, and I found my way into a support position and business support, and now the planning of needs and helping companies make their best investment in technology is kind of what I've worked my way into.
Okay, so I take it you self learn yourself through like certifications and like boot camp or learning platforms.
Yeah, very much so. I got my first IT certification before the turn of the millennium, um, and I try to keep current and aware of technologies. And largely, I do that through the certification process. I'm very, secure in my position. I'm very comfortable, but I want to make sure that my knowledge is still relevant. And I personally find that the certification process is a good way to uh, uh, help validate my knowledge and make sure that I can get a framework for learning new knowledge as well.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's sometimes the certification can help you get the foot the door, and then afterwards you can just go in which direction you're passionate about when you found it. So,
Yeah.
so I want to like if someone were to get started or anything, which which technical skills or with soft skills would you recommend someone to work on?
So when I first decided I wanted to be in IT and kind of have something related to networking per se,
Yeah.
um, that was back when NetWare was still the biggest network interconnection system around. Of course, things have changed, um, but I had a general, uh, interest in that. Um, I think from knowing your own interests, I think, if especially if you're early in your own career and you have time to investigate and dig in, I think the best thing to do is certainly learn as much as you can about a particular thing. So, say, for example, you wanted to do development. Um, of course, there are many different areas of development, front end, back end, AI, ML type things. There's all kinds of different languages. Um, I think the best thing to do is put possibilities in front of your awareness and kind of narrow them down. Say, well, I think I'm not really into like a lot of like web design. I don't have that much interest, but I do have an interest in, say, how backends work, how like big systems work with data, and when you find these answers, you may find that you may kind of gravitate toward an area like being a DBA or a data engineer or a data scientist. Um, as far as soft skills go, the biggest recommendation I have for soft skills is to focus on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a very broad term,
Yeah.
so it does encompass a lot, but understanding what it means to be emotionally intelligent and understand how to communicate with people, with customers, with coworkers, with management. Um, I think that is going to be the foundation of everything else you may build.
Yeah, because sometimes like is there any like challenges that you think young people will face when trying to learn a new skills? Because I can think
I
of one. It could be like time management, depends on the needs if they have different circumstances.
Oh, sure, yeah, time management is a big one. Especially when you have many different interests. How do you find the best way to devote your energies? We all have only a certain amount of time and energy in the day that we can use to build our skill set. We have other commitments, we have other interests, and we have to be really careful about using our energies towards something that's going to give us a positive investment in the field and the area of the field that we want. Uh, I think the most successful folks in IT are the people who really are in their kind of functional area, and that's what they're really passionate about. They just kind of see him hand in glove. You may meet a person that says that's like just loves Python and wants to work with it all the time, and you can walk away from meeting that person and you might say, I can really tell that they're they love what they do. They're just really aligned with the technology they work with and the things they do and create. And I think those people are generally the happiest and enjoy their career the most.
Yeah, yeah. Because my advice is that if you try different skills, like like as a hobby, you can still make that as a career. Like if you learn Python, you can still become a Python developer
Hmm. Yeah, I
because it
had
shows that you're passionate.
yeah, I had uh, uh, an expert tell me once that you should try to build a career around getting paid for something that you would do every day for free if you could. And if you look at that as kind of an idea exercise and you think, well, what do I enjoy? Like even in like more traditional work realms, like what part of working my job do I really get the most energy out of? I think that's the best place for people starting their career to consider.
Yeah. So you can lots of people when they start a career, like they head into to get experience through like internship and stuff, or
Mhm.
like mentoring and certification. Do you reckon people should just avoid university or just do apprentice or things? What's your view on that?
I've had as I said, a very unique path in my career. Um, I got a bachelor's degree in communication. I
Yeah.
got a graduate certificate in project management, and I got a master's degree in IT management. You know, especially today, some managers or IT executives would look at me and say, I wonder why he decided to do that. He doesn't need a master's degree. He doesn't need this other stuff. Um, I and I get that. It's a very outcome oriented path of learning and experience that we're encountering in our field. But I think part of the journey of doing a traditional degree type program also, if you're so inclined, is the ability to make a large commitment and follow through with it. Um, that certainly looks good to employers as well. But you have to kind of find the balance. You have to first and foremost find the learning and growth situation that works for you, and then kind of see what the options are for getting the knowledge that you need. Um, there are a lot of people I know who have, 2-year degrees from tech schools, and they've built a great career. And I feel no more, no less superior or inferior to them. We're coworkers, and we're both pros on the same level. And it's just very selective. It needs to match what is going to make you successful as a professional.
Yeah, so the only way to do it, you just need to reflect on what you like, and you can just learn from it. So whether to pursue it, so you can make your passion your career as well. So lots of time I say that to people. Whatever you're passionate about, whether you're passionate about like coding, web design, you can still make that as a career. So you just need
Hmm.
to keep trying until you find something. A lot of people doesn't know what they really want until when they hit 20s, 30s. So that's normal if you're like that. So it's relatively normal, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's you know, especially starting a career is a very challenging time. We don't always have a clear picture in our mind of what we want to be doing for the next, 35, 40, 50 years of our lives. And sometimes we start and stutter and find that we don't like what we're doing. Sometimes we enjoy what we're doing, but not necessarily the area or the field that it's being used for. Um, I have a friend who is a business intelligence analyst, and he is working on an opportunity for clean air and clean water initiatives in his spare time that are based around his ability to use and aggregate data with things like Power BI and things of that nature. And no matter what he does in his day job, which he enjoys, he's going to be that much more excited about his passion work. And someday, I hope, his passion work will become his main focus, and he'll be able to just exist and operate in something that's really going to fulfill him for a long time.
Yeah. So, how does if people get started in their career and want to go beyond it later on in a few years of the career, how would you advise someone to like if they're shy about doing something like, for example, presentation and stuff, because it's always good to be out your comfort zone to do something entirely new. For example, coming on like session like this podcast, doing
Mhm.
live events, or doing speaking at something, or it could be like at work, as in beyond like a normal comfort zone that you couldn't do.
Yeah, I think there's a few components to that. Um, Nobody's career is perfect. There's always going to be stumbles or fails.
Yeah,
The way I've heard it best summarized recently is failure is feedback. If you can take your failures and you can look at the information objectively and say, why did this happen to me? And what can I do to make it better next time? Um, you're going to be more resilient and you're going to be much more capable professional no matter what you do. I would say also in any case, whether you're wanting to change your focus, you're wanting to go in a new direction, whether you're just advocating for yourself at work, you're not sure how. I got very good advice once. I was told, you know, when you find a need, don't ever hesitate to ask for what you need in order to be successful. If that means going to management and saying, "Hey, I have this drive to learn something and it is related to what we do, is there a learning platform or a book series or something, some way that I can get some help learning this?" Don't hesitate to ask for it. um, is there a conference I can go to? Is there anyone you'd recommend me talking to learn this skill, this information? um, uh, don't ever let someone stifle your ability to learn and grow as a professional. Um, when there is a situation where a workplace or an individual, something like that, is not supportive of your efforts to learn, that's generally a good sign that you should learn anyway and and grow beyond what they want to set as a limitation.
yeah.
Uh,
It's like the saying is you're in charge of your own career and not your employer. So whenever your employee doesn't have the necessary equipment or fund to help you learn something, so you can still learn it because you want to learn it as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the best employees in IT or in any field, excuse me, best employees are those that feel engaged, are those that feel supported, and those, when interested, are those that know that they're going to get the ability to add new skills, new experiences, and more awareness to their skill set in order to be a better pro. Uh, always work to put yourself in the service of people who have the skills and knowledge and experience you want, and always advocate for yourself to be the best learner that you can be in order to be the best professional you can be.
Yeah, because I normally use that as a way of looking through like role model at work or role model from the community to see which role that you're interested, and then you can still ask them uh, like for guidance how they start a career, and then how, and then maybe you could get a mentor from them, something like. Don't be afraid to approach people, because sometimes people could actually be nice and help you, will be nice and help you by mentoring you.
Yeah, very much so. Especially, I mean, I guess it's all the time. It's every day in certain cases, but at every stop of my career, I have managed to be successful, at least in no small part, due to the kindness and the understanding of people who were above me that wanted to help someone who was not yet at their level rise to their level. And these people um, were intelligent enough to know that, as the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. If we can all help each other and we can work together to help each other, everyone is going to be in a better situation. Um, there are a lot of people in the field who are kind of concerned about keeping their job, keeping their position, and they restrict access to information. They don't want to share. Um, they're not very forthcoming with helping or being a good coworker. And I very much, I imagine other people also uh, thrive from people who were not like that, who were willing to share and help me grow.
Yeah, because one of the way you can do that is having a like plan, set goals and stuff. Because you can't, if you keep learning constantly, you might be burning yourself out, and then you don't have time to do things that you want to do. Like for example, social aspect, families, things, those sort of things. So I would say plan your day or plan your goals. What you want to do. You need to set goals monthly or weekly just to help yourself. I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. We all only have a certain amount of energy that gets us through the day, and we
Yeah.
have to be wise about where we spend that. We often have commitments for family. We often have work, of course, work commitments. We have things that we want to do personally because it energizes and enriches us. Sometimes, learning is very difficult to squeeze in there, and sometimes it has to take a back seat for a while. I would just tell anybody who is, struggling with the challenges of wanting to learn and just not having the time to dedicate to it, that it's okay, um, so long as you keep it in mind, uh, and you know that you will commit to it when you can. There's no need to overwork, overexert yourself, or force yourself into learning something. You'll be a better learner and a better professional when you are in a healthy, energized, supported state to be able to take in the new information and skills.
Yeah. And also don't be afraid to fail. So because you failing is your learning opportunity, it means you have more to learn when you fail. So just don't be discouraged, I would say. That's the only.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all our own worst critic, and it's very easy to have that mindset. Um, uh, I would say that a lot of culture at times can be the presentation of a perfect image or a perfect skill set, or look at all this opportunities I have because I'm so experienced and so smart and all these things. I would say to folks who struggle with that, don't let other people's successes change your own path or set your own goals. You get to set the goals and focus for your life. There's no need to compare to anyone else. Your story can be just as great as theirs.
Yeah. I think the only thing I want to add to that is that sometimes when you set yourself goals, always make it measurable and make it achievable, like using the STAR framework. So
Yep.
you don't want to set something that's beyond that you can do.
Oh
So
yeah.
set something that's easy and measurable. So
Yeah,
just
absolutely. And that's actually something that we all kind of have to learn. And you know, for a long time, I felt in my own uh, career, my own experience, it was not really something that was taught um, easily, clearly. Um, and if I may share for a moment, um,
yeah, sure.
I do have uh, uh, a slide in the presentation I use on this topic, uh, and exactly what you're talking about. is the ability to have SMART goals. And SMART goals, actually, I'll share it this way instead. Yeah, SMART goals are going to be the key to having success at anything that you want to do. A SMART goal is going to be specific. You've got to make a very specific focus on your goal. It can't be too broad. It's going to be measurable. It's not going to be just like, I think I'd like to learn a little about so and so. You want to kind of say, by this point next year, I'd like to learn, how to do maybe X in this process of learning. It should be attainable. We definitely don't want to set a goal we're never going to be able to reach or is too far away to make us feel like we will never reach it. It's got to be relevant to your not only your personal interests, but sometimes say your work interests. What your skill set is, what you're trying to accomplish, and then it's got to be time bound. So you know it's very easy to say, oh well, I'll get around that sometime, maybe uh, second half of this year. In order to be successful, it's always best to uh, kind of set an actual goal with a desired date. We may miss the date a little bit, we may beat the date a little bit, but having an actual date in mind is going to be one way to help keep you honest and keep you working forward towards such a goal.
Okay. So as this episode is coming to an end, I always like to get to know the guest. So aside from being you working and being a career coach, what do you like to do in your spare time, Ian?
Sure. So I am very much a fan of all things related to music. Um, I collect it. At one point, I had about maybe 1,800 CDs or so. I currently collect vinyl, which I've got about 900 of those. Um, I've had over 10 years of professional vocal training. I'm a professional singer. Um, I also play a little bit of guitar and bass and a very
Nice.
small amount of keyboard. Um, uh, I find it very interesting, very enriching, and it's really the core of a lot of my passions. When I go on vacations, oftentimes is uh, to see a concert or go to a museum with something based around music or culture as a focus. So I'm very lucky to have the talent that I've been blessed with, and I really try to make the most of it when I can.
Yeah. Thanks. So what are and is there any particular advice that you recommend people to go to look for more information on how to build a career, or just if they want to get started?
Of course, I would be happy to talk to anyone who's just considering, is kind of on the fence. They can definitely go to my company website, helpmyitcareer.com. Reach out to me. I'm always interested in talking to and working with and helping people who are looking to make their lives and the lives of their families and eventually the people around them improved. And uh, uh, there are a lot of resources out there for career information. There are a lot of very good ones. Um, I also know that there are a lot of coaches out there who are very much wanting you to buy into a package that might include, like, you know, uh, at a high expense, like uh, you know, things like interview prep or resume review or stuff like that. I do a lot of that myself, but I try not to focus on the sales aspect. I'd rather get to know the people. Um, I'm I would trust the people that are genuinely interested to see most of the sales pitches out there. Um, But if you ever had any questions, anyone had any concerns, want to get clarity on something, I would be happy to reach out and have a conversation.
Yeah, that's right. It's so everyone just follow Ian if you want to learn more about his career coaching thing as well. Are you going to any other like event or anything like? Do you have any other things happening aside from this podcast? Are you going to
Oh,
anything
yes.
else?
Yes. Next week, I'll be speaking on communication capabilities to uh, .NET meetup in Louisville. This year, I've got quite a few presentations. I've got one for Orlando, and most interestingly, last year I had one for Manchester, England, and this year I've got even more scheduled for the UK, Aberdeen, uh, I believe Leeds, and I just got confirmed for a presentation in Dublin later
Do
this year.
is all those presentation soft skills or is technical as well?
So very much when I present, uh, I wanted to kind of focus on my passion areas. Of course, I
Yeah.
enjoy technology very much, um, and I can definitely speak on it. But when I consider my career and where I want to be going forward, I've had many, many tasks and opportunities and jobs based around what I can do or what I know. At this point, as I define my own career a little more, I want to kind of focus on what I can share with other people, both in and out of the IT field, and and things based around career, like communication styles, learning styles, how to make an effective learning plan, you know, making an effective resumes, interview skills. Those are the things that really kind of drive my passions.
Yeah, because you can also do it like what you've learned through your career as well, like whether to be an engineer. So
Mhm.
those soft skills helps. It's more of an experience learning. Someone else don't have to make those experience again
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, I would love to share that. I do present on that topic to a national nonprofit location here in St. Louis that does grant-based IT training. But I would, relish any opportunity where I can help somebody, uh, again, get around the things I struggled with and really go on to have a stellar career on their own.
Yeah, really. So thanks you for coming on this episode, Ian. So it's a pleasure to have you on this episode. In few weeks, it's going to be on social media and to include YouTube and Spotify. So stay tuned. Bye.